All right, everyone. So I'm excited to introduce you to a really great partner of mine at Caul Group who has been with us for 3 years now, Mr. Stefano.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for
Hello.
having me.
So I wanted to have people meet you that are thinking about joining our team because I think you're just a big asset to our team. You're always giving back. You're just such a great agent to your customers. And you started, just talked a little bit about you starting as an inside sales associate to now an outside sales associate, because I think people don't know the difference. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so an ISA or inside sales associate, basically I was making calls for 8 hours straight every single day. And, the goal is to set appointments for the agents to then convert. And that's how an ISA gets bonuses or, paid on top of their salary. And I did that for about 6 months. And then I was tired of, I guess, not seeing my appointment set being converted. And I was like, I can do this myself. Like, why am I so afraid to like go out? And I know it was, the security of having a salary and not working straight off commission. And I kind of wanted to learn, the word tracks, the scripts, I guess the real estate lingo really before, working straight off of commission only. So that's kind of why I chose the ISA route. But, looking back on it now, it definitely made me a better agent because I was hammering the phones every single day and I didn't let that habit die once I became a full-time agent.
Yeah, I would say you are definitely one of the most consistent real estate agents, and that's why you're successful. Looking back at my career, first 7 years, I was willy-nilly. Nobody taught me how to have like any sort of consistency. And then I found scripts, dialogue, and a schedule and would call for 3 hours a day and then built a big
Mhm.
business. But it took many, many years. So talk to them a little bit about like your day-to-day now, because we were talking just before this video about leads that you will follow up with for 3 years. And
Right.
most agents, if I'm being honest, they want that quick hit. They want an ISA to give them appointments and sort of feed them, or they want the low hanging fruit that's ready to buy now. And they forget that they're going to be in the business a long time. So talk about your thought process there.
So I guess I'll start on my day to day. It's usually I start off making calls in the morning, but if for whatever reason I can't protect that time as much as I try to, and I have to meet a client in the morning, then I'm making those follow-up calls in the evening time, usually like 4 to 6 or whenever people are off work, 5 to 7. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not afraid to call at night as well.
Mhm.
But definitely the goal is to get an hour or two of calls, whether it's follow-up calls or just outbound prospecting in every single day. And I use a spreadsheet, just an Excel like document to kind of track my hot, warm, and cold. And I kind of like group all my leads based on their timeline. Because like we were talking about before, every client's on a different timeline. They're not thinking about real estate every single day like myself. So you just kind of have to like put yourself in their shoes. Like they're not looking every single day for a house. They're busy with life, busy with work. Things happen and change every single day. So like you can't get them to buy as soon as you actually want. That's the reality of it.
Right.
So just grouping them based on their timelines and when to follow up really helped me, I guess, stay on track and on top of those leads that are, a year or 2 or 3 years out. And it actually really impresses the clients whenever you call back and follow up with them when you told them you were.
Yeah. And especially, like you're going to be in the business. This is your career. How old are you?
28.
You're 28 and you got into the business a few years ago now, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
4 years ago.
you plan on doing this the next decade, yes, if not
Mhm.
more, because you're 28.
Yeah.
So if you get a lead and they say, I'm going to be, moving in 2 years or 3 years, when 3 years hits and you've done the right thing, you're going to wake up
Mhm.
that month and go, oh, I did the work and now I have this relationship. And yes, it's paid off 3 years later, but the reality is, what else do we have to do in this business?
Exactly. And
Work.
that was, another thing I was talking about was like, even if you're not, or you're doing your calls today for whether it's a couple months down the road or a couple years, because like you can get busy servicing, the 4 or 5 deals I have going on this month, which is great. But like, if I'm not making my calls, then my pipeline is going to dry up and I'm not going to be having 4 or 5 deals in August or September. If I'm not making those calls and generating new business and having new conversations, that's like, it's just part of the job.
Absolutely. It's definitely part of the day to day. Like I always tell people, you are a kind of a glorified telemarketer, if you will. You're constantly, the money time happens on the phones at your desk doing
Mhm.
the the conversations. That's really where the money is made. The money is serviced in the field, showing homes, negotiating contract, but the money is made at your desk. And I think a lot of agents, they may realize that, but that's not the fun part of the job. And
Mhm.
and I think I talked to Emily the other day and she said, I used to hate sitting and making the calls, but I realized I fell in love with the process because making the calls gives me the result I want and the life that I want. So let's switch gears real quick. I'm
Okay.
really proud of you because you have that investor mentality too. I mean, you're 28 and you just bought your second or third home.
Third home.
Third
Yeah.
home, right? That's pretty awesome. That's amazing.
Mhm.
So talk to us a little bit about like wealth building and like what your goals are the next, 5, 6 years. Cause we talk a lot about on our team, we should own rentals. We should have, we should build wealth. Like talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, joining this team, like I was surrounded by multiple people that had investment properties. And so, I mean, I guess I just kind of wanted to be like them. I knew that like it was a good way to make additional income and like, create generational wealth or just like eventually be financially free whenever, I choose to stop working, that I would have those properties, hopefully making me a stable income to live off of whenever I want to, stop the day to day of sales. But yeah, my first property was a flip, and that was just because I was just getting started and like I wanted to do long term, but my like business partner, just because I didn't have the capital yet,
Yeah.
wanted to just flip it. So we agreed to flip. And I mean, we made money there, but the goal was always to buy and hold properties.
Mhm.
And so I know that's a little bit harder, but yeah, I was just able to buy like my first on my own without a business partner, and that's the one that I'm holding, and I'm not planning on to sell. I guess it was like my personal home that I
Yeah.
just was able to keep it and got a really great rate a few years ago. So just upgrade into a bigger house and then kept that as my rental. And I encourage that to my clients as well, because your first home is never your forever home. It should be your stepping stone, and you should keep that one. And you get, a lot of people don't know, but you get a much better rate if you buy as your personal home and then you just buy another personal home with that lower rate instead of buying an investor rate. You have to put more down. So it's just the smarter route to go. So I think I was surrounded by the right people in the office to kind of guide me on, these things that aren't taught to a lot of people.
Exactly. Well, I'm excited to watch you grow and watch your income grow. I watch agents that have been on this team a long time, 5, 6, 7 years, and they're making 3, 400,000 because they started at 50,000, 100,000, two hundred
Mm.
thousand. And to watch you at 28 years old with the amount of income that you make, I mean, it's really inspiring because most people go get college educations and don't make what realtors make. So on
Mhm.
our team, I think it's if you sell like 16 to 18 homes, you're making 80 to $100,000, which is a great income. So
Yeah.
I just know that for you, you'll be 200, 300 plus in the next couple years just because of the activities that you're doing.
The goal, to answer your question, is probably to buy like an investment property one every single year.
Love that.
Probably don't want to buy a new personal home now for like
Yeah.
5 to 10 years. We're tired of moving. But I think we'll find, like just those smaller, smarter, like I guess rental properties more so than like a bigger home.
Yeah, I
And
think we need to take you down to Greenville, South Carolina, because they're
yeah,
really affordable there and they're great buys. Before we wrap up, talk a little bit about having a coach every week, Coach Jeff. What do you guys talk about? Does it keep you on track? Do you find value out of it?
yes, to answer your question, definitely. And at first, I will say, I guess I was like a little skeptical because I already am like, I keep myself accountable. So I'm like, I don't know how I'll feel about like someone checking in on me every single week. Like, I've never been big on like, I guess micromanaging is what people would
Uh-huh.
say.
He
Like
actually said
people
that
just
about
don't.
you. He's like, I don't know if Stefano's going to enjoy this, but I love to be held accountable. It's
Yeah.
made me successful. So, okay, keep going. I love to hear this.
Yeah,
He's
I guess I was definitely skeptical at first, but definitely the systems and processes that he's changed for me has enhanced my business. And I've seen it come to fruition now, after working with him for, I guess we're almost on like 6 months now.
yeah.
Because he looked at my spreadsheet and how I like operated, and he was like, "This is great. Like, you're selling 30 homes a year using this system.
Mm,
But if you just keep using the system's only designed for you to make 30 sales a year. If you want to do more than that, then like let's try this system and incorporate your spreadsheet with, follow up boss and the task and things that you can do through follow up boss."
yeah.
So I really think that now I will pass 30 sales a year because of like him holding me accountable, checking in. And I mean, he gives me great like text ideas if like I'm trying to get someone off the fence. Like he just like gives you different, I guess, outlooks as to or like ideas that, I'm not thinking of on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah, and I do agree with you. I think a lot of us we do it our way, and it
Mhm.
gets us to a certain level. And you're a driven human being, which is very inspiring, and you're always going to be successful. But it's those roadblocks that we don't see. Other people see our potential faster than we can, and so
Yeah.
I love to get other people's brains into my world because I'm like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I've always had a coach, and Jeff is a coach that was coaching with Tom Ferry for a long time, ran his own company, had his own team, and now he's obviously our coach every week. So I'm glad you finally came around to it, sir.
Yeah, he helped me see like where the gaps were in my business and where I was missing opportunities, following up with people on the right like time. Because he would just look at my spreadsheet. He's like, "How do you know when to call them?" I'm like, "I just know it's in my head. Like I know I remember like
Right.
my
And I talked
conversations and where they're at, and I do have notes in the spreadsheet. But having that like exact like day reminder on Follow Up Boss to like, oh, you need to call or text them today, it like helps you not like push it off or forget about it whenever I was just like looking at a spreadsheet. I'm like, okay, I need to give him a call, in this general timeline. But
exactly.
then like, life happens or like get busy servicing, the hot and ready leads that are ready to go. And you don't have like the spreadsheet telling you need to call this person there just to, touch on them.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. And I think this will get you to 50 homes a year. I really do.
That's the
Which,
goal.
yeah, no, and I think you of all people can definitely do it because of your structure and consistency. So I'll be there cheering you on. And I love that you finally came around to Jeff. It's like we put these things in place to help you guys, not micromanage. So that is exactly why, the team exists. It's to get people to the next level. So thank you for
Mhm.
being an awesome partner and always giving back and just being a rock star.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see ya.